Hey, Charles, good morning. How are you on this Thursday? Besides fighting with your technology so that you can hear
Yeah,
me,
no,
not that I
good.
have anything good to say, but that you can still hear me.
I always have a lot of things good to say.
Oh, you just have a lot to say, period. I mean, there's
Oh, yeah.
that's it. That's just the thing right there, Charles.
Wait, is that
But
what it is?
yesterday people should have listened to you because you had a pretty good day. I mean, you just really one horse away from running the whole card there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to try today, but today's card I think is a little tougher than yesterday's card.
Especially that last race with all those horses on the 1 mile on the turf with the 50-50 bias. That should be a fun one for sure. Speaking of fun, last night, Jamie and Sean had on, oh boy, Michele Michel. I hope I got that right. She's ridden, I think, if I remember correctly, 12 different countries, speaks French, speaks English, a little bit of Japanese. There was a lot of laughter on that show. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, it is on Horse Racing Radar TV, right where you are right now. Just head over there. We got a lot of good stuff. I can promise you today, a whole day, I'm going to be editing videos. We got more. If you haven't seen them yet, we've been putting up what I call twit talkers. We have essentially jockeys and other personalities in the horse racing business reading mean tweets and replying to them. So it's a lot of fun. And we'll get finally the coverage from Tampa Bay Downs out this weekend. So looking forward to that as we prepare to go off to Oaklawn Park to play golf with Vic Stauffer and then check out the ongoings at the Arkansas track. So a lot going on there, Charles. Looking forward to it. The best way to make sure you get all of it is to do what?
To subscribe to our YouTube channel and even hit that little bell so you get the alerts when the shows are on or any other shows like the Horse Center show itself.
Good morning, Michael from East Texas. Is it still 85 degrees there and humid? It's going to be like 35 here today after being 60 yesterday. Kind of brutal. All right. This is what they call in the industry, Charles, a segue, right? Thank you for that. Race one, who will win? Well, let's talk a little bit about race one at, hold on one second. Let me pop this off of here. Comments. Let me pop that one out. Bring this one in. Rich, I thought you would have beaten Charles in your selections yesterday. You only differed in 2 races. Well, we ended up tying with our top pick, both winning 3. So today is going to be the tiebreaker before we go into the weekend. So we'll see. We're going to start that with race number 1, Charles. Race 1, of course, is maiden claiming. What else?
Here we go.
16th on the turf. The purse is $35,000. And the way to the winner's circle, 4 horses at 1.16 miles on that South Florida grass. Well, there's really not much of an advantage to being a speed horse. It's pretty much 50-50 between speed, stalkers, and closers. There is an inside 3 bias a little bit, so maybe Mystic Sunshine could have a little bit of fun on the front if she can indeed get there. And outside from 4 and out, they play mostly fair, Charles. And as always, we do 1,000 simulations to create our own odds, what we think could be fair odds, using speed figures, and then to see who will have the lead at the quarter-mile marker, we use early pace figures. 1,000 simulations to kind of give us an idea of what the race shape looks like, where we might find some value. Charles, speed and value, where are they?
Well, the speed, it looks like it will be the 5 has a 48% chance of having that lead at that quarter pole. But, the 3 is going to have a shot there with 30% chance. So he should be pushing that 5 a lot, and he possibly could even have the 1 in the mix somehow. And then when you have the simulation odds, well, look at that 1, slightly over 2-1, we say, but you know what? Look at that morning line, 12-1. That's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the 5 horse itself, slightly under 4-1. Morning line says 6-1. So that's not a bad overlay also.
Good morning, Barry. Good to see you back, my friend. Looking to make some few bucks today. Well, Charles was on yesterday, and quite frankly, the last couple of days I've been a little bit cold, which is a funny thing about this game, right, Charles? You get these where you can't miss. You go through those streaks, and then you start to, man, I'm good at this. And as soon as that, man, I'm good at this thought crosses your mind, you're like, oh, beep, I just screwed myself, right?
Yeah, well, even like me personally, it was about 2 weeks ago, I went on a 9-day straight of couldn't get a 1 winner in. And then all of a sudden, boom, there I go again, But
Here I go again on my own. There you go. My singing skills. Little White Snake for you.
oh yeah, there you go.
All right, let's look at our way to the winner circle worksheet. Again, e-horses are wire-to-wire types. EPs can go wire-to-wire, sit right in the shadow of the leaders. The pressure types, they don't want to be up front. They're more followers, but they tend to be close to the front within 2 lengths. PCs are your very versatile types, can be anywhere on the track. And of course, your closers are your closers. And if we look at this race shape, Charles, look at all of these horses back here that want to be in the back. A bunch of closers, Charles, in there. With the 7 horse being out of these closers, the 13 horse has the 3 horse. I don't know why I put that mark there. Has the top late pace and a +9 early speed, late speed advantage. Out of the gates, well, these 2 should be the ones on the front, the 5 and the 1. Barry's looking for some winners today. Others are looking for the winner in race number 1. Charles, kick it off and tell us who that will be.
Yeah, this is an interesting race, like you said. Even in our charts, only shows a couple of horses with speed, and that was pretty much it. But I still like a closer in this race. I like that 4. The 4 ran second the last 2 times. Well bet last time. IRAD, is on. So I think the 5 will just get caught at the end. 5, because the 5 is my second choice here. Does have that speed as our chart well shows. Trainer gets 16% when he does a second time on the route with a horse. Saez gets aboard, so that makes that horse dangerous. And then the 6 horse is my third choice here. Got some of that tactical speed. He could sit right around 3rd or 4th. He's bred for this grass and the distance, adds blinkers. And then my price horse here is the 9. The 9 drops in class today, adds lay 6 today. Paco stays on, so says he has some faith in this horse.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, Paco, another one. I like when I like I like when Paco or Irad is on the lead for me at the end. So those are 2 jockeys you're going to have to beat. In race number 1, I am also going to start with the 4 horse. Love Miami Love. Hell, they're running in Miami. You got to love it. This is our good friend Chris Parmalou's angle. 2 in a row. The horse finished in second in her first 2 on turf after starting her career on slop. Chris says that's his favorite angle. Horses that finish second coming back to try to make the maiden run next time out because they beat all horses but 1. This time they're going to beat them all. Number 3, Ego's Unit is my second choice. This gal has that really strong late pace, early pace combination advantage over the rest. 9 points, man. When they get to 10, you got to have them in your picks. May not win, but that +9, once you start closing in on that, it's usually enough to win. Number 6, Always Royal. 4 good workouts, 16 furlongs, in fact, since January the 30th. So horse should be fit, ready to run. Finally, number 5, Light and Path. That 5 horse is the Loney. Last 2 times out, upped its speed number. If it can get out on the lead all by itself, Charles has a good shot to perhaps go wire to wire with soft fractions. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta, 3-4 with the 3-4-6 with the 1, 3, 4, and 5. Tell us about your pick 5 strategy.
Yeah, I'm going to start with my top 2 picks here because I think it's a 2-horse race overall. And then second leg, my top 3 picks, and same thing with that third leg. Then I'm going back to my top 2 picks in the final 4th and 5th leg of this pick 5. Today, I'm going swinging for the fences today because I think there's a lot of value out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's maybe 4 races, possibly 5. It's down to 2 or 3 horses, but the rest of the races, I think they're pretty wide open.
Indeed. So you have your pick 5. Our good friend Melvin Torres does have his as well. Gulfstream Park Race 1. He thinks it's an open race. He's got the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 9 in race number 2, the 2, the 3, and the 6 in race number 3, the 3, the 5, and the 8. And he's going to close it out with Snake Eyes, the 1 in race number 4 and the 1 in race number 5. That Snake Eye worked out pretty good at the back of the card yesterday. Wish I would have expanded the opening picks of those as well. And then over here, Send with Clarity. I think we both think we like the 4 here as our top choice. That's what it looks like to me, Charles, I would say.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see what our top choices are for race number 2. Race 2 at Gulfstream Park. Let me open it up here real quick. It is 1 1/16 mile on Charles's favorite surface, Tapeta. Well, they're only supposed to put that in there when the races aren't on the dirt or on the grass. Why are they putting them all on there? Anyway, claiming
It's true. It's only
12,500.
true. It's only true. They're having nice weather. Come on.
It's Florida. What the hell? It's always nice weather, right?
Come on.
Yeah, claiming 12.5, non-winners of 2 lifetime purse of 24. Yeah, when I was down there on February the 5th, I'm going swimming in the ocean. That's the kind of weather they have. And yet they're running on Topeka. If I can go swimming on the February the 5th, they can put the horses on grass and dirt. Charles, what do you think?
I totally agree.
All right. So add a mile and a 16th on Charles's favorite surface. That's again, there's really no running style bias. It's 50-50. 17%, however, do manage to go gate to wire. Inside 3 plays a little bit under par, and 4 and out a little bit above par. So if you're tie breaking, then maybe look for a horse with an outsider number. In race number 2, we have a scratch. She's a gift. The 4 horse is gone, and that one's was gonna provide all the speed. Not today.
Yeah, it looks like the now it could probably go down to maybe the 7, possibly will have the lead. But there's a couple other horses like the 1 and the 3 ain't bad, but yeah, it's kind of wide open. Who's really going to take the lead? I don't know. I guess who gets brave, I guess, or who
Indeed.
pops
Well,
that gate the best.
hopefully soon I can get this where we can update it. If we delete a horse, it'll update automatically. I just haven't
Yeah,
had the time to do that with the 90 million other things I'm working on for horse racing
but
today.
my guess would be the like between the 6 and the 7, who's going to get the lead myself.
Yeah, or maybe the Bella Mura on the inside could break sharp, or the 1.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it depends. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think with the 4 out, someone is going to send aggressively. That's what I
Yeah.
expect to happen.
Oh yeah, someone's going to.
Well, with the 4, you can see here, again, this race shape would have definitely favored the 4 a lot because it had a ton of early speed. Everybody else is a closer in here. So which one has the most closing punch? Well, that's going to belong to the 6 or to the 3 horse. Has the most late pace. And again, if you combine early speed and late speed, that 3 horse has a 6-point advantage over everybody else. Could that be enough to put the 3 in the winner's circle, Charles?
Well, without speed here, I don't know. That's the whole question, the big question of the day. I think this is one of those races that it's wide open. I ended up with the 7 because this horse drops today in class. This is his 3rd start after a layoff. Everyone now knows this is my favorite angle. The trainer gets 24% when he does that angle.
And
it
must be his too.
Yeah. So you know what? This horse.
So speaking of which, Charles,
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt you all the time, but you were the trainer and I was not the trainer. Do you have specific angles as a trainer that you're looking at? Like, I find that I do best when my horse is on the 3rd start, or maybe going from a route to a sprint on grass. I mean, what do you look for to find your specialty as a trainer?
Well, it takes a little while. You got to have a little bit of a pattern, but you do find a pattern of what your specialty is, what you've nailed, because every horse is different, just like every human's different. So once you figure out a pattern of getting them ready to do whatever you're asking them to do, you see the pattern and then you capitalize on that angle. And
so is it horse specific or trainer specific?
It's kind of both, because sometimes it just depends on the horses. If they're young, it's kind of hard to get them into a pattern, Once they're older, you could get them into a pattern much easier than when they're younger.
Okay.
Trainer-wise, you got to recognize it and try to stay up with it. Like for me, my thing was taking sprinters and taking them to a mile and a 16th.
That sounds like interesting. So I'm not sure what you mean by send with clarity. Can you send race-wise? Right now we're on race number 2. And at the end, we'll have all of our picks up. And we also list everything over at horseracingtoday.net about 15 minutes after the show is over. All right, Charles, you told us why you think the 7 horse is going to be your winner. Why do you think the 6 is going to run second?
Okay, well, the 6 is going to, he drops in class also. The 6 has that little bit of a tactical speed. He might find himself on the front end. The trainer gets 15% when he takes him from a sprint to a route. And sort of that's how I kind of was. I found myself, that was my niche, going from sprint to route, taking horses. The 5 horses, my 3rd choice here. This horse ran 2nd last time out. Another horse that kind of has that tactical speed, although it's more on the closing side, but he might get to sit a little closer, especially with Tyler aboard, might see himself right there. And then the 1, Another one that has a little bit tactical speed, more on the closing side, but he drops and he gets IRAD.
So all Arturo Camacho Voroes, I hope I got that right. Saludos from Venezuela. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you as well, my friend. In race number 1, Arturo likes the 4. In race number 3, likes the 5. In race number 6, the 3. And in race number 7, 7's abound. So just need one more 7 there to hit the progressive in race number 7. If, like Arturo, you got some ideas, or like Melvin, please share them with us in the comment section. If you have any questions for Charles and I, like I said, Charles was a trainer. Perhaps he can shed some light, some clarity for that for you. Handicapping stuff, both of us can do our best to try to answer those questions. In race number 2, Bella Mira. That's the top choice for me, Charles. That is that 3 horse that has that +6 early pace, late pace number. Did run the top last race speed figure last time, upping 3 in a row, and showed considerably better early speed last time out to go with that late speed. So I think the 3 will be of that pack of closers towards the front. Strong Embrace on the all-weather, 2 times out, 1 win and a 3rd. Going to drop to the lowest level in her 8 races. The class drop could help. Number 2, Take the Podium. This one's dropping in class. Has a bunch of really nice workouts since last running on December the 9th. And then finally, the 7-horse True Blue Pearl. On that all-weather, 4 times with a win and a 2nd. And, of course, as you already mentioned, I put down here even this, Charles, maybe better in Charles's 3rd start off the break. I'm going to do a pick 4 with the 1 and the 3, the 5, the 6, the 8, and then the 1, 3, and then the 3, 5. That is a skinny hot dog, Charles. MSG free. Next up for us is race number 3. Let's fast forward a race. That one is going to be another one of these maiden claiming. 6 furlongs on the dirt. Maiden claiming 25 grand. The purse of $32,000. And we haven't talked about 6 furlongs yet, but this one does favor speed. A full 36% go wire to wire. There's a small inside 3 bias, not a deal maker or breaker. And then 4 and out to play fair. Charles, with 36% going wire to wire, you better have some giddy up and go when the gates open. And it looks like there's one that has a lot of it.
Yeah, the 2. Basically 64% chance. That's how I saw it too. I saw this horse out winging it big time. But there is a couple other horses that do have some speed. And like that 5 is one of them. And the 8 is the other one. So those 2 might keep him honest. But I think the 2 will be out winging pretty good. When it comes simulation odds, the 3 horse, just slightly under even money. And morning line is 4-1. And you got that 8 horse, just slightly under 3-1. And the morning line is 4.5-1.
All right. So let's, can we post race 1? Okay, we'll go back to race 1. In race 1, Charles likes the 4, the 5, the 6, and the 9. The 4 being his first pick, the 5, the 2nd pick, the 6, the 3rd, and so on. I also like the 4 in race number 1 with the 3, 6, and 5. So there you have it. We both like the 4. We both think that one has the best chance to win. Off to race number 3 again. Let's bring up the way to the winner's circle worksheet in race number 3. Another race that's kind of lacking early speed in here, Charles. There's not a traditional front runner or co-pilot type. But we do have a few pressure ones that are both dropping in class, the 2 and the 5. I would expect those 2 to get to the lead. They'll get some company from the 8 horse. And a shape that should favor speed here, Charles, because you have all this group back here, with the exception of the first-time starter, the 7, that doesn't really break sharp. Of all of the late runners, this 6 horse has a +8 advantage. If he's close, and he should be close with this race shape, it could be hard to hold that one off. Not quite sure what the 7 is going to bring to the table, but we'll find out when the race goes. Find out who Charles likes with his picks now.
Yeah, like I said, I think the 2 is going to be out winging it and screaming at everybody, come and catch me. If you toss out that horse's last race, it just says winner all over this horse. But last time out, he did bore out, and that's not a good thing. And they took a little time, and they worked with it apparently. So he drops in class today to make it a little easier for him. So look out. The 8 horse is my second choice here. This horse has some of that tactical speed, like I said, that could be pressuring him if he gets close enough. He does well on dirt. He fits in this class range, so he could be a little dangerous. The 5 horse is my third choice. He drops today, but he's been off from some time now, about 5 months. He has some nice works, but it's not solid, which concerns me just a little bit. But he does get IRAD, so puts another plus back on him. And then the 4 horse is my price horse here. He tries the dirt today. He adds blinkers, and he also drops in class to help him out.
All right. And you're going to do a try box with your 4 picks?
Yeah, I want to do all 4 picks with the trifecta box. So, I mean, hey, I think I'm going to try to get some little value here other than, I mean, if the 2 wins, well, then that's the way it is. But if he just comes in like third or something like that, hey, I think I might have a little value there.
Yeah, I mean, the last time you tried box one, I think you pegged it too at the opening race a couple days ago, where you hit the like $114 or 50 cents. So
yeah,
let's look for a repeat performance from Charles today. I like the 8-horse Solomon's Gold. Has a couple of seconds and 2 at the distance and surface. Run that horse anywhere else, it's done nothing in 4 races. Number 6, Manila, top last race speed figure in his debut. 4 good workouts since February the 2nd. And also going to get a little bit of a weight break in here today. Number 5, Catch Him and Free Him. All right. This one's coming in from Delaware, so a little bit of a track upgrade. So that was a bit concerning for me. But as you mentioned, gets IRAD, and the bettors have backed this horse in every race. So perhaps they will do so again today and see if he can deliver on that. And then finally, the 2-horse Surprise Payoff should be forwardly placed, dropping in class in here, which should help him carry the speed longer. So this one should be involved from start to finish. I'm going to do a 50-cent try with the 5, the 6, and the 8, with the 5, 6 in second. Excuse me, with the 6, 8 in second, with the 2, 3, 5, 6, and 8 to bring it home for the 3rd place position. Race number 4 is next on our agenda. And for race number 4, they are going to run 7 furlongs on the dirt course. It is a claiming $6,250 race. Non-winners of 3 lifetime. The purse for $19,000 at 7 furlongs. There is a decided speed advantage. 27% of them go wire to wire. In this case, the one actually gets a penalty. So Fulton Street is going to have to overcome that anti-bias. 2 through 7 play fair. And if you wear an 8 or out, which I don't think comes into play here, then I think there was 1 horse, but with the scratch, it's not going to be there. But if you wear an 8 or out, you would have got a significant advantage. That's not going to come into play today, Charles. But it looks like the speed is going to be, this one's going to have a lot of competition to see who's going to pull the card.
Yeah, it's going to have a lot. The 3 at 32%, the 4 at basically same percentage, 32, and the 7 at 20%. I think all 3 of them do have the speed to take the lead. I personally think the 4 is going to be either on the lead or just sitting just off that horse at that quarter pole. So when it comes to the odds, though, the 1 is, we have it at 2 to 1, and morning line is at 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1. The 2 slightly under 3 to 1, and look at that, 10 to 1 morning line. There's a nice overlay for you. And then that 5. 2 to 1, and morning line says 3.5 to 1.
Okay, one more time. Race number 1. Here you go. 4, 5, 6, and 9 for Charles. 4, 3, 6, and 5 for me. So maybe screenshot it real quick. We'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we will return back to race number 4. So we went through the early speed, what the odds look like. So this race is completely opposite of what we've seen so far. The 8-horse not going to play today, so that's not going to be a part of the back half of the early going. But look at all this speed up here, Charles. A lot of it. And under these circumstances, I usually like the speed of the speed. That looks like it's going to be the 4-horse. Has a 13-point advantage at the half-mile marker. So that one should be the one that everybody's chasing down at the end. If all these guys go too fast, boy, these 2 back here are going to be licking their chops, as they have the most late speed, and they also have the best combination of early speed and late speed. So speed of the speed And the 2 and the 5, I think all those horses should factor one way or the other in determining who wins this race. How do you see race number 4?
Well, I have the 4, and here's the reasons. And it's very rare, but it does happen once in a while for me. If you have a speed horse that was running out in front in a mile race his last time out, and he cuts back to 6.5 or 7 furlongs, I love that angle. I just love it. And we have that angle here today. The trainer gets 22% when he takes him from a route to a sprint. So that's a great angle for him. And so I like this angle 100%. And plus you get IRAD. So, and my second choice is going to be a closer. The 2, he drops in class today. He fits with this class. It looks like that he will be closing. And look at that price of the morning line. Should be pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 5 horse is another closer that I have is my third choice. He drops in class. The trainer gets 50% when he drops him down 2 levels or more. And then my price horse, which is the 7. This horse does have some speed. He'll be trying to chase the 4 around. He cuts back in distance today also, and he drops in class.
Yeah, we have some disagreement between you. I mean, I think you mentioned that earlier in the day that you felt like this card was kind of wide open. I'm going to start with a 3 horse, Pure Spite, dropping multiple classes, which is a 32% winner for trainer Robert Hess, who normally wins at 11% overall. When I see that kind of disparity, it sounds to me like this is the move he makes when he needs a win, right?
Yep.
Number 1, Fulton Street, top last race speed figure, dropping in class from a race at Tampa Bay Downs. So most of the time, horses' speed figures drop when they go from Tampa Bay to Gulfstream, but it's going to catch a weight break here. So all that should even out. Number 4, the horse that you like, making that cut back, Ensign Parker, has a 13-point early speed edge over the rest of the field, but I don't know what happened in that last race. That's why I downgraded it a little bit. It just completely blew up. And then number 2, Read the Transcript, has the most leg pace in this field, the best combination of early speed and late speed. So I think that one's going to really make it interesting at the end. Probably should have moved them up a little bit in my trifecta, but I'm going to go with a 50-cent try with the 1 and the 3, the 1, 3, 4 with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 6. Maybe the 2 horse can finish third by a nose. And next time out, everybody can put him at the top of their picks. In race number 5, that's where we're going now, right, Charles? Race number 5. I get a lost sometimes. So in race number 5, these guys are going to run a 5 furlongs on the all-weather track. Another maiden optional claiming 40,000. The purse is 50 grand. Maiden optional claiming winners at just the 5 furlong all-weather winners. They have early speed. Quite a few go wire to wire. I don't know why I put down 75%. I know that's not true. The rail is a little bit under par. Everything else is fair. Charles, with speed being a primary factor in race number 5, looks like that 5 horse is going to be the one they have to pass at some point.
Yeah, he's definitely got the speed, and it's basically 181% of having that lead at the quarter pole, and that's probably going to be true. But, there's other horses that don't even come up on the chart that does have some speed, like the 4, for example. But, I think the 5 will be out there on the lead at the quarter pole for sure. Simulation odds, it looks like the 1 slightly an overlay, just slightly under 4-1. And we got a morning line of 4.5. And we got the 3 horse just under even money. And the morning line says 3.5. And I think that is it. Yes, that's it.
So 35%, not 75% go wire to wire. I knew when I looked at it, I'm like, I typed in the wrong number there for sure. Mm-hmm. So if 35% go wire to wire, that's going to be either the 5 or the 7 in here, because these 2 have the most early speed for sure. It's a perfectly balanced race with 3 that want to be on the front, 2 that want to be in the middle, and 3 that want to be in the back. And of course, the ones in the back do have the most late pace between the 1 and the 3. As far as class move, we have most of them are just staying at the same level. And you have a few, you have the 6 and the 1 that are moving up in class. In these maiden races, I feel like the class moves are more important than they are at other levels. Charles, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, extremely more important is the class levels, especially when they drop from a straight maiden to a maiden claimant.
Mm-hmm.
And here today on this race, um, I got the 3. The 3 is my top choice. He ran third last time out. He cuts back in distance. This horse is bred for the grass, so even though we're not on grass, we're on
All
PETA.
weather. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they say that there's a good correlation between
yeah,
the
there
two.
is a little bit of a correlation on that, but I think he's still the horse to beat in this race. The 5 definitely has some speed, and on our chart saying that he will be at the leader at the quarter pole. Ran second last time out. Trainer gets 17% on all weather tracks. Like I said, the 4 I think has some speed, cuts back in distance, and he's also bred for speed. So I think you're going to start seeing a little bit more out of that horse. And then the 6 horse is my price horse here. This horse ran third the last 2 times. They add blinkers. So to try to get him a little bit more focus, maybe a little bit more speed out of him. So that'll round out my top 4.
I agree with you on the top one, the 3 horse. That looks like the one to beat for me as well. Sienna Lady. That's a decently bet in its debut. Horse was okay workout since then. Liana B, the 5 horse, will definitely shoot for the lead. I don't think there's any question about that. Held her speed for the longest in the last race, so maybe he can carry it all the way to the finish line today. Hotfoot Susie, been close at this Gulfstream Park track. That 6 horse, 5 times out, no wins, but 3 seconds in the third. So 80% of the time in the money. And finally, Ace up her sleeve, the 1 horse. It's been a really consistent performer. And trainer Steve Cliceris. And this is goes 25% when going from route to a sprint. So the reverse of what Charles liked before. You're going to pick 5 here, Charles, at the end. You said you were swinging for the fences for big paydays today. So it looks like you're going to try again here.
Yeah, I'm going to take my top 3 picks here in this race, and then I'm going my top 4 picks in the next race. I do have a single in that third leg. And then the fourth leg, I got my top 2 picks, and the final leg is top 2 picks.
And, for me, the trifecta seems to be where I collect the most money. So, of course, that's what I'll do today. I'll stick to what works. The mousetrap ain't broke. Don't fix it. Trifecta 3, 5, 6 over to 3, 5 over the 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which means we're going to go to race number 6, Charles. Race 6 being another one of these all-weather races for 5 furlongs. We just talked about the bias is there. 35% of the horses go wire to wire, so speed does indeed matter. And the rail's a little bit under par. Everything else plays fair. So we talked about speed, Charles, being important. This race has got plenty of them that are going to compete for the title of front runner.
And I think this has got a lot more speed in this race than it did the other race. Yeah, the 9 is a 41% chance of him having the lead at the quarter pole. But, that 7's got a heck of a shot at 22%. And then you also have the 5 and the 4 at 15 and 12% accordingly. And then when it comes to simulation odds, it looks like the 3 is slightly over 2-1. Morning line is 4. And we got that 9 at even money, and the morning line is 4.
Yeah, and I've seen this race shape or this kind of numbers over here on this column where a lot of them have a chance to get the lead. Looks like really only the 8 or the 10 aren't going to be competitive for the front. When we see this, a lot of times I've found that horses that are middle back tend to win. I don't know that that's always going to be the case or if it's just anecdotal. But in this race, Charles, with the 1 being out, we do have a pretty balanced race here. I think this is the most competitive race on the card because all have similar early pace numbers. All but the 7 have similar late pace numbers. So these horses are really evenly matched. I think anybody can win this race. I think the advantage might be to the one that gets to the lead early, but he's going to have plenty of company with him, Charles. So how did you break this one down?
Yeah, I had a heck of a time. I ended up with a horse that I think will be stalking around that third position all the way around, which would be the 8. He's got that tactical speed. Sweezy gets 18% when he puts the blinkers back on. If you go back on this horse's history way back when, he did have blinkers on. He ran pretty good with them. I don't know why anyone took him off to begin with. Saez is on, so I'm all these other things were pluses for me, and I think if him sitting right there, I think he could take over. The 3 horse is my second choice. He's definitely one of them. that has that some speed that could either go to lead or sit right there also, the trainer gets 19% when he rests them 90 plus days. He's got some solid works in him. And the trainer also gets 21% first after a claim. So he had some time off with him and everything.
Mhm.
The 4 horse is my third choice. Ran third last time out. Now this horse, it shows it's got speed, but I think he could sit, and I think it'd be more better. He'll be much better at closing than it being at the front. And then the 9 horse is my price horse. This one does have speed. I do believe this one will be out in front. He drops in class. Trainer gets 19% first after the claim, and Paco is aboard.
Paco, my man Paco. He's like the guy in the Mikey commercials when we were kids, when they said, give it to Mikey, he likes it, right? The food.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a horse at any particular track, he'll go anywhere. So, we need someone to run at Laurel. We need someone to run at Charlestown. We need someone to run at Gulfstream. Give it to Paco. He likes it.
Mhm.
Anyway, number 6 race for me. I'm going to start off with the 9-horse, Adios Asher, hoping that he'll adios the field. Did run the best speed figure last time out, moving down in class, and drops a little in the first off the claim for trainer Kelly Barine. Number 7, Adventure Seeker, did show some better race internals from beginning to the middle to the end of his last start. I think this one's likely to add to those gains in the second race off of the sidelines. Number 6, Lusago, been really strong at this distance, ran it 9 times, has 4 wins, 2 seconds, and a third, by far the best distance for that horse. And finally, number 4, Inhalation, third off the bench, Charles's favorite angle for this consistent performer. I'm going to do a pick 4 here, Charles. The 6, 7, 9 in this race, with the 7 and the 8 in the next race. I was thinking about maybe soloing up that 7 horse, but I think that 8 might have something to say if it's ready. With the 1, 3, 5, and as you can see on that back end, Charles, I have a lot of horses. I think the last race is going to be wide open, hoping to catch a big price, to cash a big ticket, to close out the week at Gulfstream Park. Looks like race 1 is just about ready to go. Again, here are our picks for race number 1, Charles. Let's take a look at what the race is going to. Well, they still have a couple seconds before they get in there, all in there.
They're starting to load now, but
yeah, the 5 horse just went in nice and easily. The gray, the 1 horse, going in with a little bit of ease there. So gray horse with the red numbers, a little bit of Ohio State look. Number 2 horse in with ease too. So that horse is going in. He's not putting up any of a fight. They're all going in pretty easily so far. Next up is the 6 horse. That is Always Royal, moving in at 8-1. Followed by the 3, Ego's Unit, just kind of hanging out. Now he's going to go in. The 8 horse just popped in there. That's Gymnast. Yeah, the 3 horse is giving him a little bit of trouble right now, not wanting to go in. 4 to 5 favorite is Love, Miami Love, yet to load. Looks like it might be the last one to load. I'm not sure. No, it looks like there's another one too. It's outside, so we'll see which one that is. So Love, Miami Love, the 4 to 5 favorite. Yeah, he's reluctant to load too right now. I get a kick out of it. The horse is like, nah, I don't want to go in.
Well, it's because the 3's acting up. So he's like, if he doesn't like it, then I'm not going to like it.
That herd mentality kicking in.
Yep.
Yeah, so it does look like the 2 is a little bit of antsy inside the gates there too, Charles. Looks like they're just waiting on the 9. Because the jockey got off the 2. It looks like he got back on the 2. So that could be what had the 4 horse a little bit upset. I think that they're all in right now. They're just waiting. Yeah, the 6 horses get a little antsy too. And it looks like they're all settled. And they're off. And it looks like to me, the 5 horse, the one we suspected would be your leader, Light Path, which we said had a 48% chance. Well, today, Charles, it's 100% chance to be on the lead. On the inside, Alacara is the second place horse, breaking a little bit sharper than perhaps people thought at a long price, 68-1 right now. Mystic Sunrise, another that we thought would be competitive early on, is in third, kind of bumping around a little bit with the 2 as they go through the first turn. Then you have the 6 horse, Always Royal, right now in 4th on the rail, trying to save a little bit of ground. The 9 horse, Apple Lover, is about, I'd say 3 lengths behind everybody else. Behind them, you have the 5, the 3 and the 4, as those 2, along with the 1, trail the pack. So they go through the opening quarter, a little bit of a quick time for a mile and a 16th of 23 and 6 through the opening half. And I think a pretty quick time as well 47 and 83. I'm not sure that 5 is going to be able to hold on with that sort of fractions. As they come through the backstretch into the final turn. 5 horses still on the lead. The 6
4
horse,
is
the whole
moving
field is
like
starting to pack
crazy.
up. Here comes the 4. The 4 is moving like Rich racing Charles, just like he's standing still and I'm flying. Although the 5 horse is still hanging in there right now. And then the 6 on the rail. So it's a question going to be who's going to win this race, the 5 or the 4 or the 6, because you also have the 1 on the outside. The 4 is kind of flattened out a little, Charles, after that early lead right there. It looks like he might end up finishing.
That 5's got a lot of heart.
Yeah, he does have a lot of heart there. So the 4 horse is coming back too. So it's going to go 6.
6-5. The 6 came over on that 5, though. I can tell you that.
So 6-5, and well, I had the 5, I had the 6, you had the 6, you had the 5. The question is who finished third there, Charles? I think the 1 at 9-2.
Yeah, I think so. There might be an inquiry because that 6 came over on the 5 right at the end.
Maybe. It's tough to say. I didn't really see a whole lot, to be honest with you.
Well, this right here, the 5's got the lead.
It looks to me like the 5 is squeezing him down on the rail a little bit, though, too.
And the 5's got the lead, and then all of a sudden pulls back on the 5, and the 6 jets through.
Yeah, it looks to me like it looks clean.
We'll
so it's going to go 6, 5, 1, and 4.
Or 1-5, who knows?
Yeah, 6, 5, 1, and 4.
Yeah.
That's going to be the final end.
That was a pretty tight race, though, overall.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, too, I think. All right, so now we're off to race number 7, if I remember correctly. Charles, is that right?
Yep.
Race number 7, indeed, is where we're going to go now with 3 races to go. 5 furlongs on the turf. Optional claiming $62,500 for a purse of $87,000. The short sprint on the short grass. Early speed wins 35% of the time. It wins wire to wire. Post positions are mostly fair, although 4 through 7 have a little bit of a discount. In race number 7, Charles, we're looking for some early speed. Tell us who has the most of it.
Okay, well, it looks like the 7 at 47% chance, but there's plenty of other speed in here. You got the 3, the 5, and even the 9, all around 15 to 10%, depending on which one we're talking about, to have the lead at that quarter pole. So they're going to be pushing that 7 big time. When it comes to simulation odds, it looks like that 2 slightly over 3-1. The morning line is 6-1, and then the 8 is slightly under 2-1, and the morning line is 8-1.
So it looks like it went 6, 1, and 5. I thought the 5 was held up in there. So that's going to be a nice trifecta. You have 8-1 over 9-2 over 11-1 with the 4-5 favorite running 4th to clean up the superfecta.
Mm-hmm.
In race number 7, as we look at how this race could shape out, again, you have a pretty balanced race. 4 that want to be on the front, 1 that'll be with them, and then the back end, you got 4. So pretty evenly set up race here. The 5 and the 7 have the most early speed. So those 2 should be the ones that lead the pack as they hit the quarter-mile marker. On the back end, the 8 horse, if it's ready, has the most late speed, but it's also a PC horse. A lot of times when I see this race shape here, where you got them on the front, a bunch on the back, just 1 or 2 floating around in the middle here. So many times I've seen the winner come out of this too. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the 8 or 9 or both be extremely competitive in this spot. Charles, do you see either one of them having a shot?
Well, the 9 possibly. I don't know about the 8, but the 7 here is my top choice. And this horse is definitely the speed of the race. If he doesn't have the lead, he definitely would probably be second all the way around. He ran second the last 2 times. He was well bet last time out. You got Tyler aboard. There's a lot of pluses to this horse in this race. So I think he's the top choice. The 9 is my second choice in this race. Ran second last 3 times. This 9 has some speed, so he could keep up with them. And he was well bet also last time out. The 5 horse is my third choice. Now, here's another one that has the speed to keep up or even have the lead. The trainer gets 12% when they rest them 90-plus days. So you got a fresh horse here. And he's also very well bred. So You got to look out for this horse. And then the 2 is my price horse. This horse ran third last time out. He's got the speed to at least keep up for a while and then make one final move. He drops in class today. So this is a dangerous race overall, but I lean towards the 7 more than anything.
All right. So I lean towards in race number 7, the 8 horse here. Choose Joy. This one's been off for more than a year. It's been on the sidelines a long time. And prior to heading into the sidelines, it was running at a much higher, let's say not a lot higher, but it was running in low-level, non-graded stakes races, $60,000, $75,000. So I've been competing against higher quality horses than it's seeing today. I think this race could be a tune-up as an optional claiming race, not in for a price, I don't believe, if I remember correctly. But when I look at those workouts, it says to me this one should be good to go and back to form. If it's back to form, 8-1, I think would be a steal. I would keep an eye on that board. And if you see a lot of money pour in, especially early on that 8 horse, that'll tell you that the folks on the grounds seeing this horse work out and could be a good value today. Number 7, Love and Money, missed by a nose as the beaten favorite. And if you look at those fractions, though, in that race, man, they were fast. Does have 2 workouts since then. And the question for me, though, is going to have a lot of company up front again today. So might have to put on some blazing shoes once again. Number 2, Mac the PhD. Boy, when I first read that one, I was like, well, what the P what? And I was like, I want to screw this one up. But this one has a pair of bullet workouts before coming back to the track to work today. Has plenty of early speed. Yeah, going to drop in class here. Lioness of Brittany. At this distance, 7 times, 3 wins, 3 seconds, no thirds. So 6 out of 7 in the money. And all but one of those wins and seconds came on the turf. I'm going to do a double because I ran out of money, Charles, pretty much. 7-8 with the 1, 3, and 5. I think in race 6, I forgot to talk a little bit about my pick 4 there. I did go through the pick 4.
Yeah,
right, we got that. Just wanted to make sure. That wraps up race number 7. You're going to do a $10 double, right?
Yeah, I know a $10 double, 7-6. I'm going for a little bit of a price in the next race. I think the horse will go off at 3 or 4 to 1. So,
and I'm going to do a double, the 8 and the 7. I think the 7 will be your prohibitive favorite. But if that 8 is ready to go, could maybe get 4 to 1, 5 to 1, and then 1, 3, 5 on the back end in race number 8. Race 8, again, is a pretty good quality race in here today. This one is optional claiming, $75,000. Non-winners of 1, and our way to the winner's circle at 1 mile and 1/8 on that dirt course tells us that we're looking for horses that have, well, running style is really not going to make a difference, although there's been 10 races, 5 won by horses that are either off the path or on the front. 2 of them went wire to wire. So far, the rail has been a little bit of a penalty. Everything else, 2 through 7, has been fair. 8 and out, a little bit of a penalty as well. But this is a very short field, Charles. I found a lot of times in short fields, speed kind of probably plays more than it would in a deeper field. And maybe we get a price at the 5 to get out in the front and steal this one.
Yeah, you might. This is actually a very good field. This is a very good race. The 5 has a slightly over 68% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. The 3 might have something to say with that, which I personally believe that sets it up for other horses. I think those 2 will be winging it. Simulation odds, though, it looks like the 3 itself is, about 3 to 5, I guess, and morning line is 3.5 to 1, and then that's it when it comes to simulation odds.
Yeah, and then our way to the winner's circle worksheet, the 3 and the 5 are going to be your fastest ones out of the gates. At least that's what it looks like right now. They're going to be on the front. These 3 will be right behind them. Looks like the 1 actually has the most late speed. In fact, a 6-point advantage over everybody else. This 1 tucks in right behind the 3 and the 5 and has a lot of giddy up and go as the race comes to a close. Might have enough to get by them. The 2 horseback here is a lone closer against a field of 5 that are going to be forwardly placed. If they really blaze like they could, although this one might not look like it on paper, could have a good shot to rally by them at the end. Do you think the 2's got a shot, Charles, to rally by him and factor? It's your second.
Definitely. The way this race sets up, that's why I thought, the 2 speed horses will burn each other out. And I thought more or less it's going to set it up for the other horses to sit back in the catbird seat, which that leaves me with the 6. The 6 here, one last time out, but here's the most interesting note of the whole thing. You have to go back and look the date that horse ran and won, and then look the very next day they worked the horse out. That is so unheard of nowadays. Back
Mhm.
in the 20s and 30s, yeah, they used to do that all the time. Not not in modern times, basically. You do not do that. So that means the horse was bringing down the barn, literally. So he had to do something to get that horse energy out of him. So that horse was ready to rock and roll the very next day. The trainer gets 18% when second time Lasix. So I think this horse is sitting there waiting on a win, another win. The 2 horse, the closer, one last time out and will be closing in this race. So it kind of sets him up for this race. Trainer gets 21% with first time blinkers. And then the 1 horse is my third choice here. Ran third last time out. Todd gets 22% with 46 plus days rest. So that's what you got going here. You got the IRAD Todd combo. And then, by the way, IRAD always just rides for Todd, and he never, if he has a choice between Brown and Todd, it's always Todd, always. You
Hmm.
see, so look at that next time. You see a couple of horses. The 4 horses, my final and price horse. It ran even last time out. Todd gets 29%, second time Lasix, and Luis Saez rides this horse, so that's a good combo.
Yeah, Luis is a good jockey too. A little maybe underappreciated for how well he does.
Mhm.
In race number 8, I'm going to start off with Mr. Ripple. Mr. Ripple. It's like, what is that? Like the $4 wine? Top last race speed figure and getting second time Lasix, which is a big winner for trainer Joseph Safi Jr. He gives his horses the second shot of the big, bold capital L. The horses win 32% of the time. Devil's K, that horse is my second choice, that 5 horse. Maiden win last out. What was really impressive to me about that maiden win, Charles, is it went from 6 furlongs to 1 mile and won at 1 mile, but the fractions at 1 mile were considerably faster than the fractions at 6 furlongs. I mean, that's a sign of a horse that's tuned up. Number
Mhm.
1, Classic Catch, has a plus 6-point late pace advantage, and I don't think it's going to be all that far from the lead here, Charles. Finally, number 6, Game Change, maiden win in the 4th try last time out. Was much, much better late in the second half of the race last time out, and maybe that momentum will carry through to Charles's favorite handicapping angle, third off the layoff, and you're going to go ice cold here, Charles.
Yeah, I'm going to do the 6 on top of the 2 because, like I said, I think the 6 will be sitting in the catbird seat, and the 2 will be flying at the end. So I think this race is setting it up for those type of horses.
Yeah, I'm just about broke. I got $4 left out of our $100 challenge. I'll spend that in just a minute in race number 9. Race 9, of course, is the nightcap, the final one of the day at the Miami track. It's actually in, I think, Hallandale, Florida. 1 mile on the turf, claiming 20,000 non-winners of 2. Lifetime purse is 28 grand. The first time today, we're going to see this 1 mile on the grass. Again, there's no significant advantage to any particular running style. Be fast, be medium, be slow. You still got a shot to win. 24% of the horses, although, go wire to wire. You really don't get an advantage regardless of what of the post positions you draw. This race has a couple scratches. It's a deep field. The 3 is out. Lamasco, the also eligible 14. Blustery did not get in, but Chestnut Checkers did work its way into this race, Charles. Again, this one I feel like is wide open, but it does look like speed might favor to the outside.
Yeah, and it looks like you were in my computer and you just took my numbers and mixed them up again.
Mm.
But the 10 horse here looks like he's got about a 43% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. But, the 11 is going to have a lot to say about that at 28%. And you got the 12 at basically 13%. You got a lot of speed in this race, I think, also. So simulation odds, though, look at the 2 first, 5-1, and the morning line is 12-1, excuse me. So that's pretty good overlay. And then you got the 8, slightly over 3-1. Morning line is 4-1. And then you go down to that 12, slightly over even money, and you got morning line of 3.5-1.
Yes, not bad on that 12 horse at all. This is a deep field, of course. A couple scratches in here. The 3 is out. As I mentioned, the 14 is out. This one, the 12 horse, this one could be in the driver's seat. It's the lone PC horse. The 10, the 1, and the 6 are going to go full bore when the gates open. Most of the horses in this field, as you can see, want to be forward or middle placed, with only a handful of them that want to come from off the back. The 12 horse of these group of 4 or 5 back here has the most versatility. That's why it's a PC horse. The pace is slow. The 12 horse will move up. The pace is too hot. It'll just sit behind this wall of speed, wait for the tire out, and then just go by. At least that's the strategy I think the 12 is going to employ. That's why I have it on top. But you think the 4 horse is going to beat that 12 to the finish line?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those races that, well, let's put it this way: I did a try box of all 4 of my my horses, and I did this. I did.
You mean all 4 of mine?
No, you went in the computer. I see you mixed them all up. That's okay. I got you. Everyone knows what you've been doing.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, the 4 horse here is my top choice, though. Like you said, he does cut back in distance, and you get the great combo of Irad and Todd. Bred for this, he really is. So the 12 is definitely a dangerous horse here. Ran second last 2 times. The trainer gets 27% first after a claim, and he puts him right back at the same claim level. So, look out for that. And then this 11 horse ran third last time out, back on turf. He fits with these type of horses. And then my price horse is the 8. Ran third last 2 times. He drops in class, and he's another one that'll be closing at the end. So, yeah, this is an interesting race, and I think most of my horses are either right there in the catbird seat or closing, and that's how I see it.
Well, I see the 12 horse getting a little bit better of the 4 at the end of the race. It's just a half a length of winning both of her last 2. On the just finished second by a half a length in 2 consecutive races is probably how I should say it in English. Number 4, Sister Nell. This one should be really closing late and maybe better in round 2 off the bench. Does have a lot of late juice in her legs. Number 8, Andy 1, did tie for the top last race. Speed figure is going to drop in class here. And then finally, the 11 horse, Walks Like a Lady, has the top late pace, which could play well in a race where a lot of folks want to be forwardly placed, and has the best combination of early speed and late speed. You try box these 4 horses, Charles. I didn't have enough money to do that, so I had to figure out how to do it for $4. 4, 8, 12 with the 4, 12 with the 4, 8, 11, and 12. That wraps up the picks for all of our races. Here you can see what they look like from top to bottom. In race number 1, it went 6, 1, and 5. We both had the 6, not necessarily at our top pick, but glad that we did have him in our 4 selections, Charles. If you're going to pick any horses today at Charlestown, I believe, yes, indeed, at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, where you will find a link below. Tonight, it is our free track of the day. You can catch that. First race, the 4 horse, Call Me Jelly Roll, with Wesley Ho, who has been a guest on Horse Center. That horse looks like it is our top choice there today, Charles. To start off the Charlestown card, that should be your favorite track, considering it's got your name in it. Finally, if you're going to do any college basketball picks with the professor, should be a place that you want to check out. There's a link down in the description below. Professor Sides is an actual statistics teacher, and he's putting all of his knowledge to work to find college basketball plays. Charles, how did your pick, what was it, Indiana yesterday do?
It was UConn yesterday.
UConn, yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, they covered big time.
Oh, so Charles is hitting it. Anything that's going to cover big time today?
I have the UCLA under.
Under. And who are they playing?
They play Arizona State.
Arizona State. So Arizona State and the Bruins, the Sun Devils and the Bruins, going to be a boring game to watch because they're not going to score a lot of points, according to Charles. So play the under. Any final thoughts before we get up and get out of here today?
No. Once again, everyone just pay attention to weather, because it's one depending where you're at, it's either hot as Hades or cold. I don't know, man. Here in Kentucky, yesterday it was 78, and today I'll be lucky if it makes it to 55.
Oh, poor guy. I'll be lucky if he makes it to 40 where I am today.
Oh,
Chicago. Yes, indeed. Well, at least we got a new mayor. Hopefully the city's prospects can look up as the temperature goes up as well. Well, we haven't gotten a new Mary yet, but it's forthcoming. One final thing. Yesterday, I talked about some of the downside of my trip yesterday. So today, I'd like to say some of the top side. If you're ever in Philadelphia, I cannot recommend the DoubleTree by the Philadelphia Airport any better. It's a wonderful lady at the counter. Darlene did a tremendous job assisting my family. I want to say thank you. A couple of nurses at the hospital that we went to, Hannah on the 12th floor, Catherine and Rita on the 10th floor. I don't know if you'll ever see this, but I've spoken into the universe. Thank you. Maybe something good will come from it. Charles, we won't be back tomorrow because Tom is still trying to figure out how to make the roster for either the Brewers or the Cubs. I don't think I think he's got to think it's a real long shot, but maybe it'll happen. Saturday, we're going to be back, I think, with you, Charles, right? You're scheduled to work with me on Saturday?
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Charles and I will be back. He just found out on Saturday. I'm not quite sure what we'll cover, but we'll look for a card with a lot of stakes races. And we'll get that card covered about the same time Saturday morning. Of course, I'll be back on Monday with Terry to do parks, provided nothing in life throws me a curveball between here and there. And I finally have a little bit of time today, Charles, to spend a lot of time editing. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button. I do appreciate the thumbs up from OG Handicappers. Thank you, OG Handicappers. Donna Shriver-Zook. And honestly, I can't read the other name. It's either in Japanese or Chinese, but nonetheless, no matter what language it's in, we appreciate the thumbs up on Facebook and YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, follow along, keep an eye out for that great content. No matter what you're doing, college basketball, boring UCLA, Arizona State games, betting at Churchill Downs, Gulfstream Park, or just chilling out today. We hope that no matter what you do, Charles, it ends up in one place, and that can be only our good friend, Jay Marco's
Winner's Circle.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to catching up with you Saturday. Have a great, great, great Thursday.